Hello students, welcome to my video lecture. Today I am going to teach you on Ode on a Grecian Urn written by John Keats. The syllabus is prescribed for BA second semester, Department of English, Vijayanagara Sri Krishna Devaraya University, Ballari. So before going to have detailed discussion on poem, let us have some brief introduction about the background of Ode on a Grecian Urn. The poem was written in May 1819. The poem is divided into 5 stanzas of 10 lines each, along metered in a relatively precise iambic pentameter and divided into 2-part rhyme scheme. This is the form of a poem of Ode on a Grecian Urn written by John Keats. The poem focuses on 2 scenes. The first one is one in which a lover eternally pursues a beloved without fulfillment, and the another of villagers about to perform a sacrifice. It means it has 2 thematic themes to be discussed in the poem. The poem Ode on a Grecian Urn is an ode in which the speaker addresses to an engraved urn and expresses his feelings and ideas about the experiences of an imagined world of art in contrast to the reality of life, change and suffering. And the other view of approach, the features of Keats' romanticism and Keats' philosophy of art, beauty and truth are also important in this poem. This ode is based on the tension between the ideal and the real. Keats here idealizes a work of art as symbolizing the world of art which represents the ideal world of his wish at an even deeper level. I mean, as we go on reading the poem, we go in depth about the reality of the concept of ideal and real concept, where he expresses the different approaches of different view that we come across in the poem. So, Keats is very much fascinated with the first stanza of the poem. The speaker stands before an ancient Grecian urn and addresses it to the audience or the readers. He is preoccupied with its depiction of pictures frozen in time. It is the still unravished bride of quietness, as referred in the poem. The writer or the poet states that the foster child of silence and slow time, means it's about the depiction of the frozen time. He also describes the urn as a historian who gives the background of information regarding the past to the present time. So it plays as an historian that can tell a story to the audience or the readers. He wonders about the figures on the side of the urn and asks what legendary they depict and from where they come. He looks at a picture that seems to depict a group of men pursuing a group of women and wonders what their story could be. As depicted in the poem, we come across such lines as what mad pursuit, what struggles to escape, what pipes and timbrels, what wild ecstasy. This is what we have some brief information regarding in the first stanza. Now we move towards second stanza, as the poet describes as the speaker looks at another picture on urn. This time of a young man playing a pipe, lying with his lover beneath a glade of trees. The speaker says that the pipe Shakespeare's unheard melodies are sweeter than the mortal melodies because they are unaffected by time. The writer or the poet or the speaker tells the youth that though he can never kiss his lover because he is in frozen time, he is been kept tied in the time. That is a word we have come across in the word called as the frozen time. He should not grieve because her beauty will never fade. So in the third stanza, the speaker or the narrator or the poet looks at the trees surrounding the lovers and feels happy that they will never shed their leaves. He is happy for the piper because his songs will be forever new to them, and happy that the love of the boy and the girl will last forever, unlike mortal love which lapses into breathing human passion and eventually vanishes, leaving behind only. In the fourth stanza, the speaker examines another picture on the urn, that is, this one of a group of villagers leading a heifer to be sacrificed. He wonders where they are going. I mean to say, with reference to the poem, to what green altar, O mysterious priest, and from where they have come. He imagines, the speaker or the narrator or the writer or the poet imagines their little town empty of all its citizens. So no one is residing in the town now, and tells is that its the streets will forevermore be silent, for those who have left it, they have gone away. Frozen on the urn will never return. This was the view as depicted in the poem. Finally, in the last stanza, in the fifth stanza, the speaker again addresses the urn itself, that saying that it, like eternity, doth tease us out of thought. He thinks that when his generation is long dead, the urn will remain telling future generations its enigmatic lesson. That lastly, in the last stanza of the poem, we come across so beautiful line that is mentioned by the writer or the poet, Mr. John Keats, as beauty is truth, truth beauty. The speaker says that is the only thing the urn knows and the only thing it needs to know. So, here in the last stanza, we come around beauty is truth, truth is beauty. The statement is very much important to be that we come across in the poem, where as the concept of ideal and real, the information is quite elaborated in detail. So lastly, to conclude the poem, we come across different concepts to be discussed here. First one, here the permanently ideal world of the urn is presented in the urn that is lifeless, which has no life at all, when she from the viewpoint of a real life, by seeing from the ideal view and from the real point of view is somewhat different. But the idea that comes under the domain of imaginative reality is reconciled in the act of imaginative creation of Un's legend. And therefore, on the second view of point, the real life is complemented and enriched by this ideal. Thus, the two domains of the real and the ideal coming into conflicts as usual, ultimately reconcile to make a more permanent truth as asserted in the line we came across in the poem, that is, truth and beauty To sum up, in this ode, Keats begins by idealizing, personifying, and immortalizing a real object. This ideal at first clashes with the real but is reconciled. Imagination and insight at the end. Here, the poem begins with an address to the Grecian and with almost envious amazement, but it ends with the realization that beauty or ideal is also a dimension of the truth of the real. The beauty of imaginative experiences is a part of reality or truth, and knowledge of all truth is beautiful. So, at the end, John Keats depicted the ideal world and the real world in such a way that the reader's audience can capture the picture of the beauty, the concept. To say that Word on a Grecian urn gives us a clear picture to know the fact of the feelings and ideas about the experience of an imagined world of art, what Keats depicted in the poem, and in the contrast to the reality of life as change and suffering on the other way. As the features of Keats' romanticism we came across in the poem, it is also depicts the philosophy of art, beauty, and truth, which are utmost important in the poem. So with this, I conclude my poem. Students, thank you for watching my video.